Okay. Having a little bit of technical difficulties at the moment, so give me just 1 second. If you're wondering why, hey, why did that one stop working a second ago? And also, I do not have this pulled up because I literally just didn't want to make you guys watch the intro again anymore. So give me a second while I get readjusted. We did go live, correct? Yeah, it says it. Technology. Yeah, pretty much as soon as I was getting ready to be like, oh, hey, let's get everything else done. The chat just not there. No chat. Yes, it broke. There we go. Okay, hey, I am in here now. Hi, Possum. Let's see, is it gonna work now? Yay, it's working. Okay. Oh, hello, my sweet. So won't you come with me? There's also much to show in this Grim Talk Distillery. So if you like bullshit or want some hobby tips, this Nightmare Priest nigh unbinary hellworld magnificent welcomes you. Hello, my sweets. Hi, Possum. It did break. Sorry about all that. And that's where we're going. Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and just change top chat to live chat. So today, what are we doing today? Well, we got the Theodore. He's here. He's hanging out. He's having a great time. I don't know if you can hear him, but there's a lot of bathing over there. And then we're going to be doing some list building. I'm pretty much trying to figure out the 3rd edition orc army that I'm wanting to make. Because man, oh boy, that's one. Nothing, that's one. Doing nothing about it. All right, you gates. Yeah, so anyone who doesn't like hearing other people talk like an orc, I'm sorry. If you really like hearing people talk like an orc, ooh, you're about to be a lot happier. Because I'm probably going to talk like an orc a lot. I don't know about during today, but over the next bit. I've been really pumped about 3rd edition. I'm just really excited, and I'm chasing what I want to do. I think I've made good on all of my commitments, with the exception of perhaps Necropolis and Flames, and I'll get to those eventually. But just for my own moving forward with what I need to do, I want to do what I want to do, and that's going to be some 3rd edition, baby. So I put up a little poll about, hey, what do you want to see me do first? It was kind of a trick question because I got to do 2, because we got to have one for me and one for whoever I'm going to drag into playing with me, probably my wife or Shankly. So orcs, got to make some orcs, and I feel like it's a good thing because, like, one, apparently they're being re-released right now. I did not know that whenever I got the bug, and just wanted to make nothing but orcs, Waaaaagh, if you will. But that's kind of convenient because I'm sure a lot of people would like to see how I would make orcs, and it's going to be a lot of trash, babies. So yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun, and of course, the Black Legion. I'm probably going to just be making stuff for that for forever because I do love it. Yeah. So we'll get to that. We're going to get to that. Don't you worry about that. I also like to have 2 projects going at the same time, at a minimum, because I'm a crazy person and it helps me to be able to switch. Yeah, so the first thing I started to build was a Stampa. And that's a choice. And I stand by it. I'm being a terrible host. Okay. Let's do the damn thing. Offbeat builds. Holy crap, actually managed to catch one of these live for once. Waves. Hi, Offbeat builds. How are you? Welcome, my friend. Welcome. I hope you like green skins because that's what we're doing today, babies. I don't know if I'm going to build any because I need to make a list first. I might build some while I make a list. Does that sound good? I don't know. What sounds good? Does that sound fun? That kind of sounds fun. I haven't built an orc. I see. I need to hold off. Hold back, Eli. You need to make that list. So I have pretty much come to the conclusion that if also this is I guess the subtitle for this episode of the stream is how to trick your loved ones into doing the games that you want to do and loving them, because they should. And that's pretty much what this thing's all about. We got to figure out how to we're incepting. It's incepting. We are trying to make something that's like, okay, I know this is what this person likes to do. They enjoy these things. So we got to come up with something like, man, this is going to be great. I love this. I'll play this game with you. And that's what love is, kind of. These are all kind of jokes. The lack of responses in the chat makes me feel like they're not hitting as well as I'd hoped. So, first and foremost, though, initially, I was like, I think we need to go with, was it Death Skulls? So, I don't know. We're gonna do some math here. So we got Death Skulls. I do this kind of shit, and I can't stress enough, this does not change per edition. So if you don't, oh no, you're good. I was just like, oh God, am I talking about kind of incepting my wife into loving Warhammer? But no, I'm not. I'm trying to figure out how to make an army that I know she would enjoy, because that, when you are trying to introduce somebody, I can't stress this enough, and this is not just Warhammer, this is every fucking game. Any game. And if you're listening to this, you probably like games. If you don't like games, then you must just like me and things. I like you too. But when you're trying to introduce someone to a game, you really need to kind of read the room, or at least like kind of know what they enjoy, because if they don't enjoy the first experience they have with it, the first impression with a game is so much more important than a first impression with people. Because like it's pretty much there's just so much time that's going to be invested into all of it. So you really want to make sure that if you're trying to show somebody something that you think that they would like, that I'm gonna have to get an actual little cleaning lens. Hold on one second. A beep boop pop. If you're trying to show somebody something, you want to make sure that something that they might have any interest in, at least, or to kind of read the room and figure out how best to show it to them. Because depending on their first reaction, it might be a knee jerk, and they might just associate everything kind of like that with that thing from now on. The most common is going to be D&D or role-playing games. If I had $1 for the amount of people that have said, oh yeah, I've tried that before, and it was not my cup of tea, and it's just like, man, that's because you had a shitty DM, and I'm sorry about that. But that's what it comes down to. And it might not even be shitty, it might just be inexperienced, or, you know, it's hard to recover from the first impression of a bad game. And before I even begin that, I know first and foremost that we want to have a melee army, because they like it the bashing. Not only that, but orcs. Orcs seem to be the thing that call. Makes sense. But not a horde, because I don't enjoy playing a horde. I used to play Horde Tyranids. Offbeat builds. I'm teaching my 6-year-old the basics of tabletop. Hell yeah, right now. Pretty much having to be more of a GM than a player in every role is a 4-up with some modifiers or additional dice. Oh yeah, no, I can't stress that enough. Like, I'm a 4-up kind of guy. Like, I think a lot of people at Visterion, they might have been a little disappointed that it's just like, oh man, I'm gonna go play on that table with like the real big walker. It's gonna be real crazy. This is gonna be crazy. Like, dude, I'm more of a 4-up guy. We can figure out, like, the rules for every game are pretty much all the same. They might change depending on how much we want to circle jerk, but like, just had something like that this weekend, getting Anna to play a game that she played, well, tired once and didn't really like. She enjoyed it much more this time around, but it was close to pulling teeth to get her to try. That's it. It's the, if you fuck up, if you fuck up with a, it's not even just like significant other, but like a friend, you remember those things. There are games that I will never play again, because I can't stress enough. One, I'm not gonna go off on another Monopoly rant. I'm not gonna do it. I think at this point it's comical that everyone knows that I hate Monopoly so much. And I think the biggest part of it is just because whenever people would find out that I was into board games over the past 20 something years, almost the first thing that would come to their mind was Monopoly until like the past like decade or so. And there is no level of like upset to like describe how much it's just like, I don't think you, no, I'm not devoting my life to the concept of Monopoly. Like, ooh, here we go. There's a little more than that. That or reusing the shittiest Dimitri Martin joke I've ever heard, which is the, why would I want to play a board game? Why would I want to be bored? Which is just, I guess it's the tism in me that just can't find that funny because of so many reasons of logically why that doesn't work. Big Sam, Monopoly is fucking dog water. Yeah, my buddy Sam tried to get me, he was like, oh, do you guys want to play Monopoly? And I was just like, I'd rather be dead. I would rather be on fire, dead, or punched in the dick right now than play Monopoly. Just off the dome. I'm going to put just a little bit of noise on in the background because it's eerily silent. Oopa, boopa, boopa, boopa. But soon, my sweets, the printers, they will start again, or so they say. But yeah, I'm really excited about Warhammer right now. And I cannot stress enough, this is more of just a, for anyone who is getting into Warhammer right now, the biggest advice that I can tell you is, do what you fucking want to do. Play what you like. Don't give a shit about what anyone else thinks or says. And if you find something that you enjoy, do that thing. Like, and that's not a pitch of like, ooh, I want to be crazy and irresponsible with money. It's more of a, if you don't want to play the game a certain way, but you feel like you're being forced to play the game a certain way, don't. And if you have friends that are playing with you, talk to them. That's the most, it's just communication. Communication is just the single most important thing. But all that kind of comes down to, essentially, since I think 4th and up, every edition just felt like a, especially for people who are neurodivergent. Like, and I'm, don't want to yap about that too much, but I don't want to be on my soapbox all the time. But especially for neurodivergent people, like the amount of time that it takes to build a fucking army is a lot. And then to know that you're going to not even be able to use it in X amount of time is utterly offensive to me. So I can't stress enough. That is one of the biggest things that I wish I had learned was don't give a single shit about what the company or anyone else is trying to push. If your group likes a game, it's just better off if it dies. That really is it. Because then they can't fuck with its corpse anymore. They'll try to bring it back, but then you have the option of being like, okay, do we want to do, original or the new one? But the positives of those things are then the models come back. And I want to make it very clear, while I absolutely despise the corporation side of it, I love Warhammer, like the corporation side of GW. The models that they made, I will also say this, have improved drastically. And I've not even seen anything made in the past year. I'm basing that off the most recent model from GW that I think I put together was the Leviathan box set. Yeah, that's absolutely the most recent because I haven't bought anything GW before or since then, a hot minute. But it is night and day the mold line placement, and just the overall fulfillingness of the snap fit. Like, I will give them props where it is due. They're not Bandai, and anyone who thinks that they are, punch yourself. Punch yourself for me. Don't do it hard, but just like, they're not. Go buy a Bandai kit if you think that. There's no comparison. But I'm saying that as in, like, I don't think there's a single model company on this planet that is as impressive to me on so many multiple levels as just Bandai's. The gunpla kits truly are designed by some of the greatest minds on the earth, and it's very clear. If you are blessed or cursed with a certain kind of brain, you can't not see how insane you have to be able to put that together in your mind, for these puzzles to fit together the way that they do. It's beautiful to me on a level that, like, I don't think a lot of people can understand. I'm really into board games, and they just think you're super into playing Sorry and Cards Against Humanity. Yeah, that's it. Like, I can't stress enough the amount of people. It was probably in 2008 that was still a very consistent, like, constant. Yeah, I tapped out of playing at the end of 5th for that reason. Been pretty much doing small skimmer stuff with homebrew rules since 1490 Doom has been a refreshing change of pace of late. Like, yeah, no, I love 1490 Doom. I love 1490. I love Necropolis. I love small scale skirmish games. There's something, I guess, that just it called me specifically back to this. And it took a year. I really kind of, I mean, absolutely. There's, unfortunately, I think I crashed out on like in mid interview with the Wires last year about Adepticon. So after that, I was really kind of sad, and I didn't want to fuck with anything remotely made with GW. And it took a year of me kind of doing a lot of different things to, like, kind of work out where I am and what I want, and I, like, feel good now. And for the first time, which is really wild, I've been a slave to the system of X game changes, X friend wants to play, game Y. Game Y goes to 2nd edition now, what you've done. And when you're someone like me who constantly has to be, like, worried about, like, oh, that's going to change or this is not. I mean, like, what am I working on? Is it going to be even good? Like, that is just too much. And that leads to just, not getting anything done, because then you don't start because you don't do the thing. So then you're not even making the thing because you can't use it in the game. And that is just something that I never once had when I first started playing it. And going back and looking at the old 3rd edition codexes, it's like, oh yeah, I remember why. Fune, hello, Star. Welcome. It has been so long. Speaking of wild sprues, the flexible hose sprues and the machining Krieger kits are insane. Oh man. Looking at you, Trench Crusade. Hi, Star. Yeah, no, I bet they are. Are they rubber or are they plastic? Welcome, Star, welcome. Glad to see you. Good to have you here, my friend. Good to have you. No, it's good. Also, yeah, there's just a lot. I've had a lot on my mind in the past little bit. And doing things, yeah, no, looking at you, doing things for me is something that has not really kind of crossed my mind in, like, a very long time. And that's weird, because you would think that it would be. Because it's like, oh, you love doing that. I love doing that. And it's just like, yeah, I do. But it's just like, what do I want to do? I'm just so often led from one thing to the other by what the people that will play a game with me want to do. So that often leads to me abandoning what I personally want to do. And that sucks. Probably rubber. They're bendy. Okay, yeah. No, okay, that's cool. That reminds me of some of the stuff from Bandai along the lines of like the Psychozaku, the Sakazaku, the Sakazaka, the Psychozaku. No, I definitely have, and I think the RG kit maybe, or maybe HG. There's some kit, some Zakus absolutely use a bendable rubber kind of. It's the same. It's not actually. It's not. It's not polycap. It's not the same kind of material as polycap. It's a little bit wigglier, but I definitely have a bunch of those, and they sometimes use them for the axe, for the heat hawk. Anywho, probably rubber. Yeah, I'd say it sounds like that sounds right. That sounds right. Yes. But yeah, no. So I'm really excited. And all of that kind of came flooding back to me when I was just doing spring cleaning, looking at stuff, being like, what do I need to keep? What do I need to not keep? And I've been wanting to do something with all the Warhammer stuff I have. That's the thing. Like after last year, I was just very much like heartbroken. Just got to do something else with it. I don't want to make Warhammer stuff. And that's really difficult when you've got a fuck ton of Space Marines. I'll tell you that much. Because they pretty much, it's hard to change that silhouette. And not only that, but I love Space Marines. It was more of just hurt than anything. But I don't want to get into all that. But at the end of the day, looking at the old 3rd edition codexes, man, the Codex Tyranids really, really was just something special. And the amount, just every one of them. I've got a lot of the codexes physically, and then I've got the others that I don't printed. But just the sheer amount of blatant, this is not a game about winning. This is a game about your dudes and having fun with your friend. And the level of unbalance in certain places, it's just fucking wonderful. And I love that typically when people dunk on 3rd in favor of 4th, they do that because of Rhino Rush, which I never once had an issue with. And I can't stress that enough. Also, I played the fuck out of that codex. I never Rhino Rushed a single person, but that's not a codex issue. That's a people issue. And that's why in 4th edition, you now see the first time the rule popping up, the most important rule is having fun. It's wild how different things change. And I think also just time, because also around that time, from 3rd to 4th, it just changes, lots of changes. Anywho, I'm ranting. But yeah, so I'm wanting to make a orc army. I know it's either going to be Death Skulls, Speed Freaks. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put Evil Sons in the middle. Evil Sons. And Speed Freaks. And then I'm pretty much just going to come up with the differences between them that we do or don't want. We want melee. All orcs kind of melee though, so that's not going to be really hard to come up with. I don't want to make a unit of 20 boys. So that's going to be a big thing. We're going to put that here. No, with the biggest unit, I'm really fuck. You can put 20 boys in a battle wagon, right? Do 20 boys fit in a battle wagon? Whatever the most that can fit in a battle wagon. 20 boys. 20 boys max. And I'm doing this, writing all this down because, whoo boy, there's just going to be too much shit in my head. Tables. Fuck. Too excited about all these damn tables. Tables. Holy shit. Tables. All of them. So looted vehicles, we need those. Boys before toys. So I know boys before toys. When we talk about introducing someone to a game, moving 20 models 6 inches sucks. And the more you have to do that, the more it sucks. And the more it sucks to watch someone do that. And as someone who played Swarm Tyranids, and I cannot stress enough, when I say Swarm, I mean I played Swarm Tyranids. When you looked across the board, you knew, numerically and statistically, it was impossible for you to shoot all of me. You could not kill all of me. No, I did not use movement trays. I was a clown. Movement trays would make things better. And I do actually have a few movement trays that I've already kind of built for Turnip. I don't know if I've shown those. My son's in the way. I'm not going to. We need to let sleeping buggies lie. So whenever we ask him something, he needs to lie. Okay, so anything that's got a table, I want them. I love tables. They're the funnest things. I cannot stress enough, if you feel like you're in control, you're not playing orcs in my world. If you feel like you're in control of your symptoms, you're not taking Clarisil. Anybody familiar with that? Does that ring a bell with anybody? I think if I had movement trays when I played orcs, I wouldn't have hated boys so much. I think that's, yeah, that's it. Same with Nids. I mean, it was like I maxed out gaunts, like 32 Termagants, 32 Hormagaunts, 32 like Devil Gaunts. I just played straight up Swarm. And it's a lot. But I think that, and that's the same thing, like orcs play that way, the same. And hoo boy, it was hard for me to want to do it, and I love that. But like making something for someone else and introducing them as like, this is how the game is, that's not going to work at all. And that's so the most logical choice for me was like Space Marines. If you're trying to introduce someone to Warhammer, Space Marines, give them Space Marines. They're going to enjoy the game because they're probably going to win unless you've got them against something that is really good at killing Space Marines, which that's the thing. Like, you can tailor lists for Space Marines, and I want to talk about that. So, fluff or die. We don't fuck with any of that like meta shit here at the distillery. We don't do that shit. 60 boys minimum. Oh my god. It's too many boys, possum. We need cars. We need trucks. I mean, so now 60 boys minimum, depending on how big. Okay. Maybe. Could I say 60 boys in the whole army? Yeah. Yes. With lots of vehicles? Yes. So how do I get to have the things that I want? And you know what I want. I want what I want. Okay, so fluff or die. All fluff. I still want it to be crunch, though. Still crunchy, though. Still crunchy, boys. Also, I started playing Blood Bowl 3 again. Whoever I gave a right and proper whooping to the other night, I'm sorry. Oh! All right, 20 boys max per squad. I want to make that clear. Okay, tables. Holy shit, tables, all of them. We need all the tables. So what's got tables? Well, looted vehicles do. Looted vehicles. What else has got a table? Looted weapons are fun. Orc bikers are the worst kind of speed-crazed loons there are. I disagree with that. I find that offensive. What do we want to listen to? You guys just want some lo-fi? We'll just put that in the background. Okay. 2 squads of 30 and then the rest in trucks. God, Possum, that's an ask. What if all the boys are in trucks though? Because that sounds good. It just I'm trying to think it. So with third, I need to look at the way that I want to have my cake and I want to eat it too. So that's too loud. You're too loud, lo-fi. What edition is this? Third edition. Also, seeing people writing on paper is weird. That was a mantra. Fifth. Oh man, yeah, 2 squads of 30 and the rest in trucks. That sounds right for fifth. I loved the codex after this one for orcs from Phil Kelly. Phil Kelly. I mean, that was it. If you played Warhammer like in the days after Andy left, like you prayed that Phil Kelly touched your codex, that he blessed you, because he gave a fuck, and like he didn't mess with shit that he didn't love, and you could tell. Like every codex he wrote was so good. But yeah, third. That was because of the leadership special rules. Oh, I have to show you the DIY I did for my friend. Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Fearless Plus when you're over 10 boys. Yeah, so that's essentially like, and I do think also, I can't stress enough, like third, I love the fact that I completely forgot about this. You just charge 6 inches, dog. Like, you don't roll anything, you just charge 6 inches, unless you're charging into difficult terrain, and then you have to roll for difficult terrain, which is just 2d6. Other than that, you move 6, you charge 6. And that's so wild, and so much more like, yep, that speeds the game up. I don't know, there's just so many things about 3rd edition that I forgot, and I'm just like, fuck, that was better. That was definitely a downgrade when they changed that, from my opinion. Now, I'm sure there will be things that we'll find that we'll want to tweak just for realism's sake. But, you know, the power of the Waaaaagh is really rad. I love that the first, you know, when they charge, you roll a 2d6, and as long as it is equal to or under the number of boys left in the mob, they charge in with a rousing Waaaaagh, and all of them double their initiative. So, one of the biggest things to understand about 3rd is it is when power armor meant something. Like, does Furious Charge still give +1 initiative? That's a good question. I don't know. It was before all of that. True line of sight, Massachusetts. No, this is, yeah, it's, so 3rd edition is essentially, if the model that you're wanting to shoot with can't see them, it can't shoot, and it cannot be shot. Like, there's none of that going around the corner kind of shit. Like, it was all very true line of sight. It was before all that true line of sight mess too, right? Yeah, I've forgotten so much about how the game used to work. Yeah, it's so vastly different. Everyone in a unit has to shoot at the same thing. If you move, you can't shoot heavy weapons. You can only assault if you shot with like an assault weapon or I think a pistol, but rapid fire, you cannot assault after firing rapid fire or heavy weapons. Number of attacks, you get +1 for charging, +1 for 2 or more close combat weapons. And essentially, models making the assault move into contact with the enemy. They test for difficult terrain if needed. You fight in initiative order, highest initiative fighting first. Models in cover go first regardless of initiative unless you have frags, and then you go at the same time. Models assaulting with frag grenades ignore cover and both sides fight simultaneously. Yeah. But then you start looking at things like power weapons. And power weapons at this point in time were very generalized, and I fucking love that, because that means that you don't have to worry about what you want it to look like versus if that's going to mess up how you can actually even play your game or your imagination. If an axe, a maul, a sword, a talon, and, you know, like a glaive, all are just the same thing, and then a fist or a claw, you know, is double that. It just makes things, I think, it's rules lighter out the gate. But Furious Charge, that's what you were asking about. I'm trying to remember. I don't think there's an index in this. Where are the... special rules? Let's see. I don't even know. So Furious Charge, I think, was more of a special rule that would be put onto like in models like block, yeah, because like they don't have like across the board like special rules in third. The closest thing to it is like, yeah, like things like the power of the Waaaaagh. I think that's typically where that's going to be. The equivalent like would be like the Blood Angels. It's just one of their rules in the front. It would be like an army-wide rule. And if not, then it would be in the list, like say for like commandos where it's like slippery. Commandos sneak through cover quickly and easily, so they roll an extra d6 when they move through difficult ground. Things were much more like specific to like the things to like kind of separate what made them different from the others. Like this is the edition like that the orcs had like 9 different troops, like stick bombers. Like that's not even, they don't exist like after this, but there's probably some pieces of stick bombers, metal stick bombers somewhere in my shop. But I mean, my buddy used to have so many of them, but it was literally just dudes with slugga and stick bomb. But those were, you know, before the days of where you could just be like, oh, we'll buy, you know, slugga boys, stick bombs. Because Fierce Charge changed from +1 strength to +1 initiative to +1 strength. Yeah, I remember that. That was, I think, from 4th to 5th, right? From 5th to 6th meant Space Marines always got to go first because orcs are initiative 3. Yep. The Waaaaagh rule seems to fix the issue that orcs had. Exactly. No, yeah, I love third. Third was so fun because everybody got to feel like they had their army. In my experience, you really could just tailor them to be like whatever you wanted. I got real derailed there, but I'm trying to think if there's anything else that's just fucking random. But I think mainly the most random things are going to be our looted vehicles. Yeah, I think that's probably going to be the most as far as the regular rules go. Let's see. So, Speed Freaks. Mount up. All infantry in a Speed Freaks force must be deployed at the start of the battle aboard a truck, a battle wagon, or looted vehicle with transport capacity. During a game, any mob of Speed Freak orcs is allowed to mount up onto any transport vehicle they can fit aboard. They are not restricted to only using the transport they were deployed in at the start of the game. Speed Freak orcs don't mob up like ordinary orcs. Instead, when things start to look a bit grim, they head for the nearest vehicle and mount up again. To represent this, when a mob of Speed Freaks fails a mob or morale check, it will fall back towards an empty transport vehicle, centering its fallback corridor on the transport it is attempting to reach. If multiple transports are available, they'll fall back towards the one that takes them the furthest away from the enemy. Note that models will be destroyed by crossfire if they move through any enemy units in the process. Orcs will embark when they fall back. Move brings them within 2 inches of a suitable transport, i.e. one not already carrying passengers. Once in there, they regroup, ignoring normal restrictions. Embarked mob can't disembark again. The same turn it regroups aboard the transport, but it can regroup on the same turn and fails the moral check. If a transport vehicle is handily close enough for it to jump back aboard. If for any reason there's no transports, fall back to the mob scatters and counts as being destroyed. Okay. Storm Boys units don't mob up at all. They use the standard. And we're not fucking doing Storm Boys. I don't like Storm Boys. I've never really liked Storm Boys personally. Now, unless I get like a lot of kickback from that, people are just like, you better make some Storm Boys or I'm going to bomb your house. I mean, yeah, I'll make a Storm Boy. It's just a fucking orc with a rocket on his back. It's just a principle. I don't, that's not really my thing. I like dreads. I like def dreads. Sorry, I like dreadnoughts. Let me correct that. I prefer an orc dread. They look like a big can. I've made some orc dreads, And oh boy, I'm excited. Boo! you like the Storm Boys, the jump packs. Okay, so mob size checks and the power of the Waaaaagh. Despite the speed freaks use different rules for mobbing up, they can still take mob size checks. Okay. Well, orc speed cults do not have any special restrictions or advantage for missions because they're full throttle approach. So yeah. Oh, okay. And armor top. Do we have armor top? We don't have armor top. Nope, we have armored plates. We'll have no effect against ordnance. Also, I really like the fact that when you look at looted vehicles, it's like if it costs less than 50, you can buy 3. And it's just like there's one fucking vehicle in the game. Essentially what that means is if it's a rhino, okay. But otherwise it's just like what the fuck else would it be? But yeah, I'm pretty sure we're going to want to go with Speed Freaks. And if not Speed Freaks, then Death Skulls or Evil Sons. Let's pull up. I want to know the difference. Hey, I'm sorry to everybody who was going to watch this on Instagram because I made a story and I never shared it. That's because I was fucking with all this, I suppose. So yeah, here we go. The difference between them. Let me find these pictures. Death Skulls. Core mobs lootas. That doesn't help really. It helps us get the number down. Core lootas. So that's one thing. Common looted vehicles. That sounds good. But that means at max we're going to have 3. And that doesn't sound good. I feel like there's a way to get more. And I think that there is. And then rare mobs, Scar Boys, Commandos, Flash Kits. That's fine. I don't really care about those right now. War balls. That's really it. Now for... Man, that's so fucking trippy. So I took a picture of this. I screenshot this on my phone. And when I screenshot it, it had little arrows already. Because there's a picture in the phone. So now it's like there's arrows there, but they're not really arrows. They're like the arrows that were there. And there's a second set of arrows that I actually have to push. Okay, so Evil Sons are core. It's war bikes. Common units, battle wagon. Battle wagons are really cool. So no dreads, really. Killicans, lootas, big guns, commandos. Yeah, really, do we want dreads or not? I love dreads. With Death Skulls, we could have dreads, but that's the thing. Like, we really are trying to come up with a... Dreads really only shine, I think, in later editions when you can have a dread mob or when you play a horde. Now, does that mean that I'm not going to build dreads? No, I'm going to build a ton of dreads, but they're probably going to be destroyed and going to be used as terrain. The most important thing to remember about Storm Boys is nothing says it has to be a rocket they used to get around. You've sparked my interest. I am curious. Rule of Cool says you have to take dreads. That is true. But I want to make sure I get all the other things that I really want. Killican's dreads are rare. So, rare. I do like them. But at the end of the day, I'm only going to have like 2 dreads max. That's the thing. I get too excited. I'm like, man, I got to have all these dreadnoughts. And then you start looking at 3rd edition. You're like, wow, armies used to be a lot smaller than I thought they were. Oh boy. So war bikes are cool. That's for sure. Speed freaks, troops. Now, that means that we could go to having war bikes, which are normally a fast attack. That opens up our fast attack, so we could have more war buggies and truck boys. if that's something we want. I don't know if that's what I really want. Whereas going with speed freaks, we could have a mix of truck boys, war buggies, war bikes as troops out the gate. We want to go, we just want to play speed freaks. We want to play speed freaks. That's what it is. I'm seeing how it is now. Yeah. War boss. Because our war boss, it's speed freaks. We want to play speed freaks. We're not even. That's it. Okay. Speed freaks. What else has got crazy rules? Anything in here? No. It's pretty much that's it. But we're going to use a fuck ton of guess weapons. So that's another thing. Guess range is the funnest shit ever. BB. XOXOXO. So yeah, that's the thing. If you've not played 3rd edition, guess range is one of the funnest things about it because you actually have to fucking guess. And however many inches you guess, that's where your shot lands, and then you roll scatter dice. It is a time. It was the time that certain tisms were king. If you could just eyeball, yeah, I know how many inches that is, like off the top of your head, and just like. A basilisk from across the board could just be the scariest thing if you really know how to. That's probably like 64 inches, right? Tell drones to fly out. That's fun. Little drones. Yeah, speed freaks. I think we know what we want. So guess range. I love guess range weapons. Anything that is going to let us have that is just so fun. Also planes. I really want to build a plane. So speed freaks is absolutely the way that we need to go. Now, what about all the other big stompy things that you love, Eli? Oh, that's easy. I'm building a board, a bunch of terrain. So that's where I'll get to build those. I'm going to build a bunch of little wrecked dreadnoughts and killicans and stompas to pretty much be scattered around a war zone. Just a little hellish battlefield. Yeah, I'm really excited about that. It is 8:56. I've got to pee. I've seen Star Wars using Trunks. Hell yeah. So let's go ahead and we don't really need this. This was a wasted piece of paper, and I do feel like I could have done more with it, and I could still erase it. I'm just gonna do that. Beep 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 beep. Oh, and also to comment on that, that's a me thing. I do not like to make lists on a digital, like in a digital manner. I don't like digital list builders. One, they're never fucking right. And I've said that for years. And it just comes down to when you work in anything where you have to rely on human input to be correct. You learn really quick. It's not malicious. People fuck up. We make mistakes. And if you build something that has one source of truth that it references, and that source of truth that is referenced has any kind of mistakes in it at all, it just kind of fucks the whole thing up. So I have just wasted too much time with shit like that. And I don't think I've played a game yet that a friend of mine who used a digital army list builder did not have issues at some point in time during the game because it did not have the right kind of logic kind of built into it. Also, shout out to the person who did an Akira bike war boss conversion. I hope they're having a good day. Hell yeah, me too. I also hope that. We got to have this out because looted vehicles, babies. So, yeah, long live paper. I like using paper. It brings me back to when I did this stuff. I didn't have that option of using a laptop. Did I even have a laptop? No. I didn't even have a laptop. cell phones existed, but not what they were like. Bag phones. Bag phones existed, or were like, you know, military. The times, baby, the times change, but I still love orcs, baby. So a war boss. I think you already know. We want to go. We're doing at least 1K. 1,000 points. And I have been, along with all these things, I've been trying to ask questions to Kelly to find out, like, okay, say this or that, what would you find more fun? Just to try and make sure that I am on the right page. And I know that between a biker and a dude in a big old truck that jumps out to whoop ass, that's what she wants. So we're going with a war boss mounted in a battle wagon because why wouldn't we take a war boss in a battle wagon? And that also means that we have the wonderful Knobs war bike mob as an opportunity. Man, 3 to 5 knobs. Yeah. So immediately the first thing that comes to mind is making a trio of them, because I've got 3 little fluffy babies and I like to make references to them often in many things. So I feel like having the 3 of them as a knob biker war gang just running rampant and fucking shit up would be really funny. Also, of course, you know, orcs can have 3 companions, which of course made me think mumbo jumbo grumbo. There's a lot of fun things. We're gonna do a lot of fun things with orcs. I love orcs because they are horrifying when you really think about it. Like like up front, it's just fucking, they're horrifying. They're just a monstrous race that just loves violence all the time. And like all the humor is just dark. It's just real dark humor. You gotta kind of laugh about that because it's just fucked up. And I love that. It's pretty fun. Senseless barbarity. For the sake of it, I'm gonna go pee. It's pee time, and then we're gonna get down on this sickness of war bossing it up. I'm not gonna start that right now. I'm gonna go pee. Okay, I'll be right back.
Sing no litanies or praises of our names back home, but I'll be damned if I'll stand by silent while jesters claim our throne. Sped up this movie is lovesick with its own premise. Round up this flock is hope sick with happy ending. Don't deny the streets were gold, but the beggars and your holy virgins picked them clean. Oh, I could never be so bold. I'm just another leering wolf bang amongst the sheep, and we hang our heads low, all too blind to see. Just fake animals pour out words just to speak. but the masses move too fast to process what they mean. Just like penitents are bold, still struggling with the noose while the vultures pick us clean. Oh, and we hang our heads low, all too blind to see, just fake animals, pour out words just to speak.
And we're back. Boo bop bow bow. Yeah. Alrighty. So, want to see something cool? Okay, bam, book's closed. I could do this with my eyes closed, but well, I don't think I can do it. Oh, maybe I could. Let's see. Hey, I did it. Yeah, I could do that with my eyes closed. I love this edition. Weapon skill, bullet skill, strength, toughness, wounds, initiative, attack, leadership, save. That is etched in my brain and in my heart. That is the proper, right and proper stat line. Order. Man, I'm heavy-handed apparently. I think we talk about that often. So I like to do this and then cost. Do I put cost over there? No, I'll put it over here. So war boss, 60 base. He is weapon skill 5, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, 5, 2, 5, 4, 3. 5, 2, 5, 4, 3. 4, 4, 9, 6. Now the paper versus the digital, is that preferred? I'm curious if watching someone write something on paper versus looking at someone typing something, if that's, I would think people would like writing, but who's to say? Your army must include a war boss. A war boss may be given any equipment from the orc armory. We're gonna have a bunch of boys. So a battle wagon can hold 20 boys. The most boys we can have in the battle wagon with us is 10. But we could have 2 mechs and 2 mad dogs. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and then a whole bunch of grots and stuff. So yeah, we're probably gonna fill that thing up. But first and foremost, let's just get him his war gear. I've really kind of gone back and forth on this, on the merits of heavy armor versus mega armor. And mega armor for 30 points will net you a 2-up armor save. So now you're a fucking Terminator. Why is that scary? Because in 3rd edition, AP means things. If you are in 2-up armor, you can die in pretty much 2 ways. Being shot with like a las cannon, a demolisher cannon. A demolisher cannon will kill you. Don't get hit with that. Or melee. Those are the ways that you're going to die because you have a 2-up armor save. Especially when it comes down to characters. Why that's a thing. 3rd edition is the era, it's the era of your dudes, and more than anything, it's the era of Hero Hammer. You know, independent characters joining groups and now, like, you know, being in there, leaving whenever they want, joining other groups. And so that's when things like, I think 4th edition is when like Furious Charge and stuff started to be conferred onto those, because essentially the moment that like a character joins a unit that's like, oh, we can infiltrate. Yeah, the character can't though, so they lose that. It only it does not go, you can't downgrade essentially. They don't gain, I don't believe that anyone confers other than fearless, but that's only because they are using his leadership and he is fearless. That's kind of one of those things. And I might be misspeaking on that because it's been a minute since I've looked at it, but I'm almost certain I'm not. So yeah, War Boss. I've gone back and forth on how do you equip them. And I really think that the most practical way to equip a War Boss is with a Choppa and a Power Claw. So Choppa's 2 points. Power Claw is 25. And then Heavy Armor. Heavy Armor. Which is 10, right? Heavy Armor, no, it's 8. Okay, Heavy Armor is 8 points. And we're going to want to go with a Cyborg Body, of course, but a Bionic Bonds. Bionic Bonds is 10 points. That's going to kick him up to... Heavy Armor is a 4-up save. Bionic Bonds for 10 points, you change that to a 3-up. So he's got a 3-up save now. There are a few things, range-wise, that are going to be really scary to him. Battle Cannon is the only thing that really comes to mind. And then again, everything that's just scary to everything. So when you don't have to worry about getting shot by a lot of stuff and you're mainly thinking, okay, where's he going to die? Where's this guy going to die? He's going to die in melee, hopefully, because that means that he didn't get shot by a Demolisher or a Battle Cannon. By a Demolisher, really, if we're trying to compare Heavy Armor to Mega Armor. With a Power Claw, you strike last. You are now Strength 10. You will instant kill damn near anything in the game and can punch a hole in a Land Raider if need be. But you strike last. That is kind of an issue for us. We're only toughness 4. We now have to worry about a Space Marine who, with a Power Sword, just a Power Sword, could kill us before we ever even get a chance to strike, because a Power Sword ignores armor, strikes at initiative. So we want to have something that we can use to fight a Space Marine. We don't have access to power weapons. I don't think that huge choppers are a good use of points, because essentially we're now striking at the same initiative that we would if we had a Power Claw, but we're not instant killing everything. We can't crack open tanks, and we're only saving 15 points. That's a bad use. I love how they look, but unless I'm really trying to save points, I'm not probably ever going to pick a huge choppa over a Power Claw, or just choppas and sluggas. Now, where that can kind of, where do we want to go? We could, now, and another thing here, we're doing a choppa and a Power Claw as opposed to just a choppa or a Power Claw, because we can switch. We can choose which one we want to use. Do we want to strike last at strength 10 and ignore armor? Or is there anybody in that unit that could possibly kill us that we need to hit with a fuck ton of attacks? That the choppas are scary as shit, because for 2 points, it's not a power weapon, but the best save that you can get is a 4-up. It essentially, in a game where armor was not handled like it is in most editions, it forced that. So chain axes and choppas, which are essentially the same kind of concept, as far as like lore wise, they're typically a big brutal chain weapon for orcs, or at least they used to be. So where's my water? That is really big. And when we're talking about a difference between, you're going to make a Space Marine captain roll, if we're going with a Power Claw, you're wounding on 2s, and he doesn't get an armor save, but he's going to have an Inform probably, because he's a captain. So he's already at his Inform for... See, and every time I do this, the only reason that I even think about taking a Power Claw is vehicles. being able to, one, kill a vehicle for just a change in points, it's definitely utility, I think. Especially if this guy can leave his group. So yeah, I think that's how we want to go with it. Man, I start talking about Warhammer and everybody just kind of shows up. Hey y'all, welcome. Chop a power claw. So his attacks are also he now has 2 weapons, so on a charge he's getting 6. He's getting 6 attacks. He can have up to 3 accompanying guys. This is where he has no gun, so he gets nothing from an ammo run. We could throw 3 attack squigs on him, which is fun. I got 3 cats, 3 attack squigs. That's pretty fun. And that would run us 6 points apiece. I'll put that off to the side as a maybe. We'll see how many points. Attack squigs. Attack squigs are pretty much just awful little squiggly beasts that hang out with this guy, and just use them to just throw more attacks on. I left off the boss pole. We're gonna need a boss pole, cyborg body. Sorry, I wasn't done there. Boss pole. I think my music might be a little too loud, or at least it is for me. There we go. Boss pole. Boss pole is 3 points. Cyborg body, of course. We gotta have a cyborg body, which is 10. And now we have a 5 up. 3 up, 5 up. We're like a little baby Terminator, kind of. Let's see. Frag stick bombs. He needs frags. We've already got heavy armor on there, right? Yep. Frag stick bombs. Aye. 1 point. That's it. So we could give him a tank buster bomb, but again, we have a power fist. So there's no reason to do that. Waaaaagh banner. We're gonna give the Waaaaagh banner to a probably someone in his retinue. So where are we at on his cost? He's 60 plus 25, 8, 35, 45. Margot, 59. So 119. It's 119 total. My math on that's right. Seems right. 35, 45, 55. Yeah, 59 plus 60. Yep. Hey, honey. Margot, hold on. Well, Margot, honey, I know. We might have to pause here and pick back up on this later, my sweets. So Theo's been a little sick as of late. I will let Margot talk to you first, though, because she's got something she needs to talk about. Margot, I was trying to tell the people. Okay, now she's gone. So, yeah, so Theo's been sick. He's kind of been doing his little thing. And we had talked about taking him into the vet. So my wife is on her way to come take him to the vet. So I'm going to go with her, which means I got to get dressed. So I'm probably going to stop streaming here, but we will pick back up. Honey. Come here. You come here if you want me to pick you up. I'm not going to chase you around the basement. Rotten, this one. I hope the baby is okay. Yeah, I think he's okay. We think he's okay. We just think he had an upper respiratory infection, so he was having a hard time breathing. And we think that he probably didn't eat as much because he's just lost a little bit of weight. So we're just trying to make sure that he's okay. Margot says, "Hey everybody, if you like orcs, we're gonna be building a bunch. Yeah, bunch of orcs. Hope all is well with the fur child. Thank you. Yeah, he's just been taking it easy, honey. God, Margot, these kids, man, they stress me out. Imagine if they had thumbs. But no, yeah, I think I'm probably gonna stop here. That way I can go with her, so she does not have to do it alone, because that's extremely stressful. But again, that was the clinic. My mother-in-law runs like an animal clinic, so that's how that goes. Why it's just like, well, did you not know that you were taking them? We were waiting to see if it was insanely busy today, because typically Mondays are crazy, as most people with fur children know, or children for that matter, doctors. So yeah, I think I'm gonna stop it here. But I can. If you guys want to pick back up with the list building, is the list building something that you all would like to be involved in, or would you rather me just do that and then kind of go over it with you all? Let me know. I've not fucked with Warhammer in a long time, and I know that's what people want to see. So if me doing that is something that you all would like to do on stream together, I can absolutely do that. Maybe even like in an evening thing, if that's, preferred. I have a hair in my mouth, probably from kissing on that furry little baby. But yeah, so yeah, no, I don't mind seeing it, but whatever works for you. I don't know much about the 30 stuff. Okay, cool. Well, if you are watching this, after now, and you have an opinion, if you all want to be involved in the list building, just so you can see how it's done, and how I do it, then I can keep doing this on streams, and maybe even do it like, I don't know, we might do one later this evening if that's something that the people want. Comment, let me know. I'm going to be doing better about looking at that shit. Comments. I've forgotten more than I ever knew. Oh yeah, same. Like I used to know that book front and back because I spent so much time just reading the 3rd edition codex and every other codex I could get my hands on. I just gobbled it all up. But yeah, I'm very, very, very happy to be coming back to Warhammer because it is what I love. And to finally have the, I guess, mindset that I need for it of just, I want to show you what I love about it. And then, I think you'll enjoy that too. So, but no, thank you guys so much. It's been great. Let me know if you want to be involved in this, in the comments, or in the Discord, or if you'd rather me just show you what I'm building. So yeah, I want to make sure that's with now touching, going even into Warhammer stuff at all. I know a lot of other people are going to be interested, and yeah, I would like to make something that I think the community wants and would benefit from. So yeah, I say it every time. I'll keep saying it. Your time is the most valuable thing you've got. The fact you spend any of it all with me means the world to me. Thank you so much. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. Sit pretty, always be proud of who you are. Offbeats, Possum, Star. I think that's everybody that was in here. Star, Possum, Offbeats. Yeah, thank you guys so much for hanging out and keeping me company. It's great to see you guys. Yeah, if for everyone listening, if you want to support my work, you can find a link in the description for my 4th wall. I'm going to be revamping that now that I've kind of got an idea of what the hell I'm doing. It's time to get this show on the road. So, and we're going to do that with orcs. They're going to be orcs and Black Legion are going to be my intro back in. So, until next time, take care. Bye, friends. Smooches. Smooch, smooch, smooch. Bye, my sweet.